What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my studio. My name is Michael Taylor, and thank you for joining me for another video. Today, I want to do kind of an intro into cryptocurrency and just allow those of you who may have never been involved with this a chance to kind of understand how things are working and maybe like how to better assess the projects that you may be interested in. Okay, so let's get started. In order to talk about this, I first want to introduce you guys to this website, coinmarketcap.com. This is a place where you can go to find information on all of the very many cryptocurrencies that are out there. So currently there are 1,486 cryptocurrencies, and this lists all of them. And as you will see, you've got a few things for each coin. So you've got the market cap, price, volume, which is how much money has flowed in and out of the project, and then the circulating supply. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on Bitcoin since it's the king, and I will show you guys kind of how I assess different projects. So first, you'll note all of these links to the left, so you can find their websites. The Explorer is a little more technical, same with message board. You won't really need those, but the source code is very important as well. So websites and source code. Then you can find the rank and whether, you know, it's got a few other tags that you can look into. Over here, you can find the price. Normally this will be the price in Bitcoin. So since we're looking at Bitcoin, it is worth 1 Bitcoin. This market cap is basically the total amount that has been invested into that project. So this is the total amount that is in Bitcoin currently. And then if you notice at the top, this is the market cap for all of cryptocurrency. So Bitcoin has a 34% dominance, which means this is 34% of this number, okay? And this is a good way to assess how the whole cryptocurrency sphere is doing. Obviously, this is how you assess Bitcoin. And then, like I said, the volume is how much has been traded in and out of Bitcoin today in 24 hours. Circulating supply is how many Bitcoin are currently out on the market being traded right now. And then this is the maximum supply. So this is how many coins that will be mined in its entirety. So that is the total amount of coins that there will ever be. So there will never be more than 21 million Bitcoin in existence. That's very important because going back to what I was talking about with inflation, if you have a massive number for the supply, that means that that coin is not very rare, right? It means that everyone can have a piece, whereas Bitcoin is very restricted in that sense, because if you think about the 7 billion people that are on this planet, only 21 million can own one entire Bitcoin. Obviously, you can have fractions of a Bitcoin, which is very important, but that's just kind of what I'm talking about. 21 million is a very small number in comparison to the global economy. That's what makes Bitcoin very valuable. And down here, you'll find the chart of how Bitcoin is doing. So you can do it in different days and kind of zoom in with this right here. So you can go to just 2017 and check out how Bitcoin's doing. But one very important thing when looking at charts, do not ever use the linear scale. Always go to log, because it's logarithmic, and it has a it bases it off of the time and like the exponential value. So that way you have a better understanding of how Bitcoin is doing. So obviously, you know, if you go back to linear, it looks like things are crashing, right? We went all the way up to $20,000 and now we're back down to 11,000. So it looks really bad, but in hindsight, or in relative terms, from the beginning of the year, you know, starting at $1,000, we're all the way up to $10,000. So that's just a better way to look at the project in its entirety. Always use the log. Okay, so yeah, I'll kind of walk you through what I do whenever I'm looking at a coin. So obviously the logo, name, that kind of stuff is important, but it's not the most important thing. Max supply is always something I look at. So total supply, max supply, I always take that into account. So if, for me personally, if a coin has more than say 100 million available or total supply, I probably am not going to invest in it, for me personally, just because I know how much inflation and how volatile the price can be with numbers that high. A good example of that is like Ripple and Tron, like those kind of coins I tend to avoid, just because there's so many of them, and if you have a lot of money you can really, you know, shake the market, and it's just not a very good long-term hold. And I'm an investor, I'm not a day trader, so it's just kind of how I look at it. All right, let's go to the website. So as you can see, we've got quite a few different tabs with a ton of information, so you can find, you know, just about anything you're looking for. And yeah, so Bitcoin is the king. Bitcoin is the first, right? It's the one that a lot of these other cryptocurrencies are based on, and it's been through hell and back. People are always trying to tear it down, always trying to break it, always trying to you know, put a bad name, bad rep on it, but it's sticking around, and it is, you know, very valuable, and it's something that I think is going to last quite a long time. So it may not last forever, you know, other coins will come and probably take the spotlight as years come and go, but I think Bitcoin is going to be around at least for another couple of years. And so whenever I go to a website, I'm kind of looking for a few things. Basically, the utility of the token, like what the project is trying to accomplish. The team is very important, and you want to make sure that the team that they list are real people, because a lot of these scam coins will make up profiles of the people that they are claiming to you know, be affiliated with. So they'll make up these profiles, make up these elaborate, you know, like CEO of blah blah blah, and you know, get people interested and get people to invest, and then they'll completely abandon the project, take all your money, and then you're just stuck with, you know, nothing. And that is very important, because scams are, you know, a very real part of this community. So you have to do your due diligence, you have to research for yourself. You can't trust what I have to say, you can't trust what anyone has to say. You know, you have to prove it to yourself first before you start to invest. Very important, can't stress that enough. Also, the other thing I look for is a white paper. And a white paper is the technical rundown of the entire project. So if a project doesn't have a white paper, that's kind of leery. You know, I'm skeptical of a lot of those projects. It's basically just a really simple way to outline the entire project. And you know, they can be very boring, they can be very long, and I know that, you know, you may not want to read them all the time, but if you invest, I highly suggest that you at least read into the white paper. And the other way to keep track of projects is through their source code. So like I was saying before, you know, these scam coins will come up and they'll just throw something together, or they'll clone another coin. Like they can clone Bitcoin, clone and copy all of the software and the you know, the code, put their name on it, put their brand on it, and then try to sell it to people, and then, you know, never intend to develop the project. And so you know, you have to be able to research and make sure that people are actively working on the project and actively providing, you know, value to it. Otherwise, you know, you're buying into something that is just vaporware. So source code is the best way to look at that. And like a majority of these projects use GitHub. And if you are unfamiliar with GitHub, it's basically a place where all these developers come and they can, you know, they can have a say in the code. They basically write code and they work together, and then you know, either the team lead can agree and say that the code is written properly, or they can say it's not and reject the code. Basically, it's just a place where all of the developers get together and can write the code or the software for the project. So Bitcoin has a very active development team. So you'll notice all of these very large numbers, and you can click on any of the links. I'm not too familiar with code. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to kind of get into that space, but I haven't done much coding in my lifetime, so I'm still very new to it all. Basically, the commits are what people write, and then they commit to the project, and then if it's accepted, then it becomes a commit. Branches are different aspects of the project people are working on, and tags and things like that are very important. And as you can tell over here, you can see, you know, how active they are. So some parts of this project have been worked on, you know, 5 days ago or 7 months ago. So if you're looking at a project and you don't know whether or not they're actively developing it, that's a good way to gauge, you know, if they haven't worked on it in 7 months and you see, you know, no one has been contributing, it might be one of, you know, a big signal as to maybe I shouldn't invest in that project. And the other thing that I like to check are the contributors. So a lot of these are anonymous, you know, just because people like to stay anonymous, but sometimes you'll find very big profile names like Gavin Anderson, who is effectively the guy that Satoshi Nakamoto put in charge of Bitcoin. He is the one that is kind of leading this project and making sure that a lot of things are getting accomplished that need to be accomplished. So that's very cool to see him on the team. And then obviously these guys are, you know, big names in the developer sphere, so you can look into it, look them up, you know, try to reach out to them maybe, and make sure that they're real people, make sure that they're actively working and not trying to pull one over on you. So that is pretty much it for today. I just wanted to do a quick intro to cryptocurrency, and I'll go into some other coins in the future. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.